This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. This is the Police Committee, Wednesday, May 31st at 5:30. Inside Village Hall, we have Jason Ackerman, Julia Rourke, Chief White, and Sergeant Half. Missing is Adam Beaver. No one signed up for public comments. Anyone have a conflict of interest for this meeting? Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes, and let me scan them. I think I've seen it already, but scan them one more time.
When you're done,
Let me know when you want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval of the minutes for April 26th.
Jason made the motion, Julie will say yes. And Jason, I guess you have to say yes too.
Yes, approved.
All right, minutes are approved from April 26th. Just follow up on the minutes. Is Cotter a done deal, pending?
Yep, he's already passed everything.
Oh, he's passed everything already.
That's under new hire.
Oh, sorry. I'll just shut up now. All right, we'll go to the discussion items then. UTV ordinance. As I mentioned when I sent that spreadsheet update, I don't think anyone's heard anything from Mary unless you two have.
Nope.
I haven't, and I'm sure she's, like I said, prioritized away. So I can circle back with her I've asked her twice now for just an estimated timeline, and so I know obviously things happen and she gets.
I'm still waiting on my chicken ordinance, so we got unpermitted chickens probably all over the town.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you were serious.
No, we have a chicken ordinance already, but I haven't got that either. I'm just making a joke though. I don't think there's any unpermitted one.
We had some at one time.
Does anybody have any updates on the UTV issue?
The only thing that I have is that the school district has gotten back to us. They do not want UTVs on their property. The email I got this morning from Dr. Schwolko says, with having so much traffic, we would prefer not to have UTV vehicles on our school district.
Which is their parking lots and whatnot?
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
So anytime, even weekends, nothing. So it's all or none, they say none.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Just trying to figure out, I thought that was a line item on our checklist, wasn't
It
it?
is.
Yeah,
Where is it?
about fifth line down, fourth line, fifth line.
Because that was one of my responsibilities.
Oh, here we go, number 8, okay. I'm just gonna do the spreadsheet then.
And the only other thing that I had as far as UTV goes, Adam found a vendor or a way for stickers that we can actually print in-house so that we are not buying stickers every year. They are stickers that we can print onto and then almost make it like a license plate, if you will, or a registration sticker. So it'll be easy to do, it'll cost very minimal, and it's something that we can do in-house.
Okay, that's good. All I'm doing is spinning.
And this is not a priority, and you know, with the 90-day wait, it wasn't gonna be done almost winter anyway,
At this point.
technically. So Mary not having it done, in all seriousness, is not a big deal. I just would like a vote sometime, you know, when we get there, but because it does keep coming up on the Facebook.
Yes, it does, I see it a lot.
I was able to, because then there's talk.
Well, now you know what happens and why
Right.
it take a little longer to have. I mean, so it's just like any day at the office for me, I have a to-do list and sometimes I don't even get to look at it because so many other things have happened that I
Sure.
have to address, so it's just the
Understood.
same thing. All right, well, I will update this when I stop spinning, but now that I'm spinning, I can't get back to the agenda. Oh, here it is. Okay, body car cameras and grant. Is that you, Nick?
I submitted a grant yesterday in the way that they asked me to do so, so I included the copy of the signed contract, letting them know that we are in contract with Motorola Solutions. I also included a letter explaining how we plan to deploy these cameras and the timeline in which I was given by Motorola. So that is done. I haven't heard anything back from them, and they've actually been pretty responsive if there's an issue. So I hope that no news is good news.
They didn't give you a timeline, or did I just?
The timeline is 3 to 4. Of course, you'd ask a question like that.
Show me the money, you know? Well, I think that deadline for the grant's June 30th, right? And I don't know if they grant after they get all the apps in, or are they granting as they go?
It depends. Sometimes it was granted as go, sometimes it's after June 30th. I even looked back at the last time that we got this grant, and we were given it beyond the date that it was, because they wanted to see receipts for install and everything before that June 30th. But knowing that we are going to be out some, we continue on it. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Body cameras are 3 to 4 weeks of delivery, and lead time for in-car cameras is 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
Okay.
So then we would still have to wait for install.
Okay, I'm sorry, the question I asked is the grant, decisions, is that?
Oh, I have no idea when.
We don't know anything?
It's the state of Illinois, so we are at their mercy.
And we don't know anything more about the, software and?
Nope. And that is a topic of much conversation amongst many agencies in the region. I just recently sat down with 4 chiefs in the last month, and that's the question that we're all asking each other.
Nobody knows.
Do you, on the quote, I think you and I talked about this before, Nick, it's got that transfer station, but we think we have one. What did Motorola say to that?
They won't know until they're actually physically in the building to see what they can do.
Okay, so we signed up and included it, but we might be able to back out of it.
We might be able to back out of it, yeah. It all depends on if what we currently have will handle the additional stress, if you will, of the body cameras. Because you're talking, car cameras are just however long the traffic stop is or the call. Now we're gonna add, 1 to 2 body cameras on the scene. That's a lot of data. It's a lot of data to push through to the cloud. So I imagine our server that we have will handle it without a problem. But I did send out a questionnaire that was sent to me today by Motorola to our IT department, asking those specific questions.
And that was forwarded to them so they could fill out the information that's needed.
Then are we okay with our IT department?
Yeah, we have a pretty good report.
Is this still the Nicolosi group or is this?
No, that's
No,
website.
The website,
Oh, that's.
No, our IT department is, it has gotten a lot better in the last, I'd say, 18 months. Before we would send an email, it would take a while for them to get to us. Now, if I were to send an email, like I needed something now, the owner of the company will call me and say, okay, let's work on it right
Okay,
now.
so that's a lot better than it used to be. I thought I remember hearing complaints about.
Yeah, we've got a really good report with them.
Didn't I see, well, I was reading that grant information to try to get the numbers you were getting. I talked to you a little bit about that. Didn't I see there was some training reimbursement as well, or is that a separate part of the grant, or?
I thought that was a separate part of the grant.
I think I remember that, I didn't even see, like, right now, I don't see that you have training.
Yeah, it's like,
That might be an option you're not doing anyway.
well, and we just, it's the same system, not the same, it's very similar system to what we.
Yeah, so you already know it, so you may not have gotten the training.
Right.
There was something on the grant about training, but that might have been for more extensive training.
We understand that the section of the grant is felt overwhelming, however, you need to figure your numbers on training. If requesting a reimbursement for training expenses, these figures control the maximum grant amount that can be awarded to match your requested earlier.
I just remember I was gonna bring it up, but
I also think that
I
you might
don't
be,
see-
you might be thinking of the training mandates, because we have to be all current on our training mandates in order to apply for any kind of grant, which we are. We have no officers that are in the red for their state required mandated training. Even the new officer, Cotter, he is up to par with all training mandates listed by the state. That's why we keep such a strict eye on training, because if our officers aren't adhering to the mandates or they are not compliant with even something as small as acknowledging the policies that the department has, that can knock us out of the running for any type of grant.
Oh,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's an agency that applied for the same grant that we got 4 years ago for the car cameras. And the previous chief did not submit the report to the state that they're required to every May. And they said, okay, if you want this grant, give us the paperwork that we requested for the last grant that you got 4 years ago. We always took care of that. We are always one of the first agencies to submit that because it's pretty easy for us to
Otherwise
do. And
oh,
we gotta stay on top of it, and it's a lot of work, because you have to track every single citation, every single arrest, all the way through from the time it happened to actual adjudication. So it's something that we stay on top of.
but this must be pretty basic once it, I mean, obviously the in-cars are the same, but the body cams,
So, yeah, the body cameras are gonna be very similar. There's actually an app that we can put on the department's cell phone, and the officer can log in and tag their own videos right then and there, rather than have to do it in front of the computer. Like tag the case number and the type of call it was. Yeah, it's a pretty sophisticated system. With this system, we're also getting a really nice evidence storage. So say you have cameras on your building. I come to your house or I come to your business and you're like, hey, I've got video of this. Rather than us trying to figure out how to get your video, download it to a thumb drive, put it on a computer, I can give you a link, you can upload it to the cloud, and it will marry up with my body camera and my dash camera.
interesting.
And it's all in one
So
spot.
anybody's personal camera at their house, even
Yeah.
residential camera.
That- If you have pictures,
This becomes a part of the video evidence that goes with the case.
and if you have pictures, or even, hey, I want to scan this document and give it to you, you can do it all right through there, and it'll be so much easier for.
World we live in now, right?
It really is. And that was part of the Axon deal as well, but this works just like that. It was a significant cheaper cost.
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
so Frank signed and you got the grant submitted, so we're in good shape, and keep us abreast on the next grant that comes.
I will, I keep, actually, I've got a couple people that are keeping tabs for it down the state, that work for the state, and they're kind of watching it weave its way through. And the latest update I got was maybe September.
My fear was that they'd say, okay, but this is only for future purchases or something like that, and we would be like out of luck because we already purchased.
They changed that grant from its original inception anyway.
So did like the bigger agencies get a better deal on that grant? Because we're the bigger agencies, the one mandated to get these things in place earlier.
Yeah.
We're
must be.
smaller.
They got a better deal.
I think they got a better price because.
Because the manufacturers,
Taking
as
advantage
it
of
goes farther and farther down the line,
closer to the ultimate deadline.
Well, even if you
they're
look at,
jacking their prices up because they know they can, because they know it's mandated, have to have them, so.
even if you look at the prices that we pulled 2 years ago, because we talked about this 2 years ago, it was significantly cheaper than it is today on both sides, both Axon and Motorola. And now, I mean, 224,000 for Axon is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you don't, I mean, we probably wouldn't have been able to get the grant. Didn't I hear in one of these meetings?
It would have been more,
like
it
early-
would have been more difficult because they were getting the money out to the bigger agencies
Yeah,
that had
right.
to have them.
Right.
I mean, you would have had a fight on your hands, I think, unless, because they could just come back and deny it, because, well, you don't need to have it for another 3 years.
So if that happens, do you apply again the year after?
Yeah, you would have to. Like, that's why we started this process this year.
It's because.
Apply this year, and
25.
if something happens where we don't get it this year, we still have next year to apply.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to start a little bit in advance, just in case something did happen where we weren't granted, weren't able to get the grant.
Okay.
And I'm sure this time next year, if we were trying to go for the grant again, I'm sure the cost for the equipment would go up even higher.
Yeah.
And currently, this grant has $33 million in it.
A lot of little agencies out there though.
Yeah.
There is.
At 233 a pop or whatever, Exxon.
That are probably
Exxon-
putting it off.
Yeah.
No, wait, because there's some police chiefs that are totally against body cameras. I won't do it unless I absolutely have to.
Well, they do absolutely have to.
Well, yeah, like 2025, so I have to have it.
They run the
Why
news.
not? I mean, because if they don't do it, they're not gonna get any other grant funding down the road. I mean, you could not get them, but good luck getting money out of the state of the fence for anything that you want.
What
You don't
happens
have
if you
money.
don't get them though, if it's a mandate? I
Well,
don't know how,
There's a lot of stuff that's mandated in the state of Illinois that some agencies don't abide by. They just don't get grants. They don't apply for grants. I don't see how they get away with it, but they do it.
anything more on the body cameras? Body car cam. Next one, I kind of asked Nick to put on here, which is the vehicle and resource allocation, and that had to do with, obviously, as our police force expands, we have to look at the fleet and see what do we need there. And so I had asked Nick to, kind of get me a, printout of what do we have for cars, because I didn't even know, I wasn't on top of it. And so we've got a total of 5 cars, and I did share this with Nick, and I haven't had a chance to talk with Jeff, but I'm sure Nick's talked to Jeff. That I guess I was surprised to find out that you guys were both taking cars home. I don't know, help me understand that first and how that works and when it started, because I'm not aware.
That started, the previous chief took a car home. For responding here to incidents that occurred. There were several incidents during his tenure, even in the last few years, that he would come to the village off hours, outside his normal work hours. If it was emergency purposes, he had a vehicle then that was equipped with emergency lighting, a radio so he could monitor the radio traffic, and everything he needed to get here and go right to the scene instead of having to come here and get a squad car or something like that, and then go to the scene.
And so you're talking about Todd?
Yes.
I don't remember Todd ever taking a car, but okay, go ahead.
He did. So that's the whole purpose behind it. The car is not misused when it goes home, goes to our residence, sits there until we come in the next day or our next shift. It's available to anybody who needs it. When I was on vacation, I didn't leave the squad car sitting in my driveway. It was here. If people needed it for something, they could use it. We had people that went to training. When Michael Maggio went to Southern Illinois for his training, I stopped driving the car. He took the car down to training. It's not something we're hoarding or holding on to, say it's mine. No, it's the village's. It's used for the purpose it's used for. It's to get people where they need to go when they need to get there. I could leave that car here and drive my own. That's fine with me. I have no problem with that. And I think Nick's under the same impression. But it's just the easy access to the car and have that availability to us, especially with him being closer to the village than I am, and him being the first phone call that they usually make. And then I get the phone call from him for something serious, like Officer McWhorter, which was in that accident, crash. He was here within a very short period of time, assessed the situation, let me know, and I thought, well, it's important enough, I wanted to come in and see, make sure everything was okay. And I drove the car in. It's not, the cars aren't used for personal reasons. It's not driven around anywhere other than for work.
So of the 5, you said 5, right?
Yeah.
2 of them are those. So,
But they're also used when we come in here, when he comes into work, he uses that car for his normal shift.
and I don't have a clue on what this, with the new hires and everything, how many cars are the plan to be out and about on a given day?
There could be as many as 2 at each time, at any time. Well,
I thought that was the purpose.
there would be 1 for the day shift until the 3 o'clock car comes in. Then there'd be 2 cars on from 3 to 3, because you have, at 6 o'clock, the other car would go home, but the new shift car would come in. So now you've got the 2 cars running from 3 to 3 a.m. and you've got 1 car from 3 to 6. Then you go back to 1 car from 6 to 3, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 2 cars from 3 to 3, 1 car from 3 to 3.
I kind of have this stuff printed out, which if I can
So
figure out how to
that's-
scan and email to you, I can send it to you, unless you want to email
I
this.
can email it to you.
But 3 cars are being used for the most part at any given
Yeah.
No, well, 2.
2.
plus Nick, so when Nick's here, it's being used for patrol, but otherwise we'd be down
I was
to
just
2.
trying to see any overlap. as
So
well
I
as
still, we still have the three cars.
Well, we have, one's an SRO, right?
Well, that car is still there. It's only gonna be there during the school.
Oh,
day. It's
yeah,
not
one
gonna
of
be-
them, right.
So you have, my initial idea was to specifically make that vehicle an SRO vehicle and only be used by the SRO. That's not gonna work out. So it's gonna be returned here every night and it'll be available for patrol whenever we need it, just to keep those cars rotating in and out.
Because
I know
it's
some of the
equipped the same way.
Yeah.
We did that, yep. All right, I'm just keeping up.
So I think some of the
I
questions.
know, that's why I needed a picture from Nick, I'm like, just map out the shifts of the
Yeah.
cars. 'cause
Oh, yeah, that's why I gave you that.
So I think some of the question came up, some of the thought process is, we were looking at another car. Well, that idea of that car was not asked for by us. Somebody came to us and asked if we would like another car. Of course,
What do
are
you
we
mean,
gonna say
who
no?
asked if you wanted another
Frank did.
car?
It's not something that we asked for.
Yeah.
I didn't-
We don't need another car at this point. We have plenty of cars.
But at the same
But
time.
I didn't want anybody to get the impression that we asked for another car. We didn't. We were asked if we would like another car, and of course, are we gonna say no?
Oh, yeah,
No.
I didn't know.
I mean, we try and budget out so we can purchase those vehicles in a timely fashion, so those cars get rotated and they move out, move in. I mean, we don't come in one year and ask for $160,000 for 3 or 4 new vehicles at one time. We have a sinking fund and we put money in every year so we can replace those vehicles.
Yeah, and our only challenge now is we've got 3 that are about the same age because of
Yeah.
an accident.
Yeah,
Because of an accident and an SRO car, which is in addition new, and then the other car wasn't that old. So we've got one with 11,000 miles, one with 13, and one here now, or on order. Or do we have the SRO car?
Yeah,
Well,
it's over in the garage.
We're just waiting for the equipment to show up to have it up and.
Yep, just got the plates for it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just wanted to understand it, and I guess I mean, it's just a communication thing too. I
No,
mean,
I get
we
that.
should know that as a police committee, and the board should know. And I mean, you just think about an incident where you get in an accident, when you're driving home, but you got a little bit further drive. It's like, and we don't even know, how do we?
Oh, no,
respond? You know what I mean? Because why is the car not for it? I have
Well-
no idea why it's not for it.
When Sarah was in her accident, he was notified, I was notified, and Frank was notified within a short period of time.
Of the accident, right.
Yeah, because we,
No, I'm just talking about the fact that again, I was surprised to learn that you'd have vehicles sitting in your driveway.
Oh, yeah.
I just had no idea.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not saying it's right or wrong, I just had no idea.
It's a very common practice in police.
Well,
yeah, we've had it happen in the past, people that from the village are in Rockford and see our squad car. Well, and they question why our squad car is there. Well, they're going to court. Well, in fact, there's some people that got in pretty serious trouble for being in places they weren't supposed to be in a marked squad car on their shift. That was years ago. That hasn't happened since then. That was, many years ago, as a matter of fact. But they question it, and I agree with you. What can they question? Why is the vehicle here? Well, we're going for service, we're going to court, we're going to the uniform shop for uniforms, and there's a lot of places we have to go. Sometimes we can go out and look for people. Could be in any subdivision or neighborhood in Rockford, Loves Park, Rockland, Rossville.
you do that?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Winnebago policing?
Oh, yeah.
If a crime happens here,
We gotta
just
go look
because
for
they
the
get out, doesn't mean that we're not gonna go chase them.
Okay, I just would
Yeah.
interpret that as like you're looking for trouble somewhere
No, no,
else. Okay.
No, that's not.
So, no, I wasn't at all implying that you guys are like going to Chicago on the weekends with the squad. But they're literally sitting in your driveways or route or whatever.
And if something were to happen, if somebody needed that squad car for some reason, he would bring it in.
Yeah, that's all.
Whoever needed, and we've
That's
done
why I was asking about the overlap,
And
as long as we always had, that's what we,
it.
And we
we've
all
done-
have keys to all the cars, so even if there was 2 of them working and a wheel fell off one of the cars,
right, that's what I was
they'd
getting.
send me a text and say, hey, gonna come pick up your
We need
squad.
a car,
Yep, and they would literally just come out to the house.
but the SRO car is available, you're saying?
Well, it's not right now, 'cause there's no equipment.
No, it will.
It will be, yeah.
Well, not during school hours, during school session. It's gotta be
Yeah,
after school.
true.
Well, during the
School
school,
would be the night
during
shift
the-
that would be available.
during school hours, there'll be a
Which
patrol
one?
officer, myself, and the SRO on. So
But the
I'll be in the
nighttime,
unmarked white car and 2 patrol cars, one will be out patrol, and one will be at the other
the
side.
evening time would be when those 2 cars are not here though, that was gonna be my point. If they're driving 2 cars home, the SRO car is here for a
Yep.
backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At night,
Absolutely.
at least, well, actually, probably. No.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah, and
By-
then, does it make
by-
any,
4 o'clock, it'd be available.
does it ever make any sense to rotate the car out of your driveway, take a different one?
That's what I was wondering when you said there's 3 that are the same age. Do they get less time on them if you guys use them for that or not?
I would say yes, probably.
You know, maybe you could kinda,
I was
I
just,
mean, the only thing about the one that I drive is it's not marked. And
and it has no equipment in it. other than
there's no radio in it,
No
there's no
computer,
cage in it, there's no computer in it,
What's in it?
lights and sirens.
lights and a siren, that's it.
that's that SUV one.
No,
No,
that's the white Taurus
sedan.
sedan. The
I
one,
thought I saw you in
the one
a
that
Ford
was,
one
the one
day.
that was marked.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw you one day in a Taurus, but I thought, do we have one of those?
Mhm. Yeah, it's the one that used to have markings and a light bar and stuff on it, and we cleaned it up.
So, yeah, all right.
And, yeah.
Now, is it mileage you're doing though, or years? Like when I going back to how you
A lot of
change
it
them
is
out?
mileage, based on how we try
So-
to stay under 100,000, because it's not really the mileage. Well, the mileage can hurt these cars, because number one, they're usually slow speed and a lot of turning. So
Idling
the
and-
first things that go out are usually brakes. The second things are front suspensions, because you're turning at slow speeds all the time. You know, and then tires and brakes, you know, that's
So
normal wear.
You're not trading them out after warranties, or we are?
No,
Oh,
keeping them
okay, so
well-
it's not age, it's mileage.
mileage.
So you could rotate them out
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
maybe to,
Well, and I noticed, the other day, I was looking at the miles on the cars and the last oil changes and stuff like that, like one of them needs an oil change. The one that I drive though, I'm well under the miles, but
But that also keeps that one he's driving also keeps the miles down on it.
which is the old.
It was
Now,
the
yours
oldest
is fully
car.
equipped or no?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cage,
because it's your patrol car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
yeah, cause like at
but that's what, 34,000?
30, I think it just rolled 30.
37, you have on the sheet, you gave me a month or
Yeah,
so.
so I know it's,
I think it's just good to know how it all works.
Well, and I think the other thing is to have a policy in place, because I looked at our policy on village property, and it's lame. I mean, there's nothing in it. It basically says no vehicles, clothes, equipment for personal use, only for the use intended. Well, what does that mean? Does driving
Oh,
home
I
mean personal
see.
use? I don't know. Technically, I think from a finance standpoint, I think there's, that any drive to and from work is supposed to be taxed as income, like compensation. I'm not going there, but I think that's technically how it's supposed to be done, which I'm assuming isn't done. You guys get any kind of a,
Probably already.
but
but, I mean, I'm not saying it because everybody else does it, it's a common practice, is you have supervisors that take cars home so they can respond to scenes when they have to.
Yeah.
You look at the city of Rockford, and I bet you,
well, City of Rockford is.
well, that's a whole
like
different,
your house.
yeah, but you would think they would need to do less of it because there's so many more supervisors.
I reached out to 4 municipalities just this morning, sorry, and asked them for their policies, just to see what do people do out there, what's the, you know, I tried to ask them their policy, who drives squads home, how many squads in the fleet, how many officers, and what their budget was, because obviously the budget's gonna play a role here. I mean, if you have a shoestring budget, you're not taking cars home. So I have 3 or 4 of them sent this back, but I haven't had a chance to group them in an email, but I'll send them to everybody and add them too. And maybe we can just look at them and see, you know, what.
And who writes
Well,
policy
real
like
quick,
that?
We do,
real quick,
as a board.
you guys are talking about village policy. Are you reading the police department Lexipol policy on take-home vehicles? Because that's what we're gonna be looking at as well. Police department may assign to an individual member at the discretion of chief of police, vehicles assigned to on-duty and or take-home use. So we do have a policy specific to take home.
And
vehicles.
electrical, the whole thing that we buy or whatever, the
Yeah.
whole thing that we adopt, is that something you can snip at that piece of it and send to us?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because that, you know, it's in conflict with our own internal policy.
Right,
That's
right.
not gonna work. I mean, what do you go by, lexical or our own internal? And it doesn't say you can't take them home. It doesn't say it's assigned either. I mean, I took,
It's probably old.
what's that?
It's all,
Probably old.
No,
No, that
you
would,
missed the employee manual meeting. Oh my
Oh.
God, that was when I first joined the board. I'm like, what do I get myself into?
that was a personnel policy.
It was this thick. Okay, I can read it to you because it's that short. No employee of the village shall request, use, or permit the use of village-owned vehicles, clothing, equipment, materials, or other property for unauthorized personal convenience, for profit, for private use, or as part of the secondary employment. Use of such village property is to be restricted to such services as are available to the village generally and for the conduct of official village business. That's what it says in our.
Which is conflicting. Didn't I?
No,
Is it Alexa?
I don't consider, what's your definition of private use? Is that the ability, the fact that they get to drive it to their
okay.
home, is that really considered
No.
private use?
I mean, not if it's for where
I
you're
wouldn't think so. Private use, if you're using it to go run to the grocery store.
Right.
You know, that's my understanding of private use. And I mean, it'd be misallocation of funds if you took a car and used it for personal business when it's village property, when it's just basically to get from there to here, not only at work hours, but in emergency purposes.
Start splitting hairs, right?
Yeah.
And you're telling us these cars aren't used personally in any way, they just sit in the
No
dark.
way, shape, or form.
maybe a little bit.
Do you wash them while they're there?
What did you say?
Not even a little.
Oh, I think you said I do a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Tow my boat with it.
No, actually,
No, don't do that because I heard the story when I was a staff committee, they had a guy that had a take-home car. He, got a U-Haul trailer and was pulling a U-Haul trailer with it when he moved to another location.
really?
Yeah.
Come on, it's where we're home, we're selling these things.
I think, I didn't get to read all these emails, but it sounds like, so I just sent emails out to, Oregon. I tried to stay with the community about our size. Oregon,
Hell, Byron gives her coppers
Bolton.
take-home cars.
Wow, they got a nuclear plant funding and everything. So I talked to Fulton, Mount Morris, Oregon, and Cherry Valley, and I got all but one.
Mount Morris is what,
Mount
two
Morris I
cops?
didn't get. What?
Mount Morris is what, two cops, three cops maybe?
No, they had about our same
Yeah.
size when I went on their
He's got
website.
one usually
Yeah,
sitting
back-
in his driveway,
Go size by,
Peck takes home cars.
and he's not,
He's a sergeant.
oh, he is a sergeant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll take all these emails and put them in one and then send it off to you guys, but, it was everything from the chief gets a car to take home, one was the chief of the SRO. The other one was a chief only, so that's, and then this one, who was this? This is Oregon, they keep their cars for 7 years. Now, I don't know how many, he didn't say how many miles he had on them, but they have 9 full-time officers in Oregon.
Well, I mean,
trying to think.
113's 10 years old.
Yeah.
They let officers take cars home if they live within 5 miles of the city limits.
That was I don't even know. I know you're Westlake, are you
I
farther
live,
east?
Alpine and Linwood. Just a little bit farther east than that. But they've also found over time in the larger agencies, like the sheriff's department was a pool car for a long time.
What does
So
that
they had a
mean?
pool of cars where you had to come into work to get your car, load all your stuff up. And now they're all, have their own vehicles. They all have a take-home vehicle now. And they find out that vehicles last longer that way because they take better care
It's their car.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even
of them.
the,
That's obviously something we can't do here, but I'm just saying.
even the upfitter that installs all the equipment, he's like, what a night and day difference between how their cars used to come in. They come in just beat. No one would care about them. So now he gets them and there's like a jacket hanging with an actual hanger and everything's got a spot. And it's always clean on the inside. And so the studies do show that.
All right, so so Nick, you just sent that, the Lexipol, and I'll send these other ones out, and maybe we can put it on the agenda next week and just talk about it. And I also texted Mike McKinnon to see about public work. I mean, it's vehicles anyway, it's across the village, even though I think the police different, because it's a fleet that's required to do your job, that
that-
everybody has to be in, but
that policy
we
is
should look at
general.
all of it.
Public Works has to do the same thing, they have to have their vehicles do their job.
That policy is a general umbrella. It wasn't just for police.
That was,
The little paragraph that I read you, yeah, there's a whole employee manual you should get a copy of, I'm sure Kelly could email it to you.
that's the general Village of Winnebago personnel policy. Basically is what that was, what she read.
You bring up an interesting point, though, what if there are conflicts with Lexipol and that?
I
Well,
think-
supposedly that was the,
Everything is referred, for us, is referred back to Lexipol unless it falls within that policy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff in the Lexipol policy that's not covered in that.
Well, yeah, for sure, because of police having so many different specific requirements.
And that's why we have to have long discussions about certain things that appear in that policy and are just specifically referenced to the police department in that policy, because the way our shifts work, hours we work, things like that, there's a whole different paragraph for the police department stuff, and it doesn't even reference in there in the Lexipol policy for some of that.
Mhm.
I'll have to do it from my other computer.
Yeah, just send that up
Yeah, I'll do like I do with all the new hires, like
or read it.
here's a bunch of stuff for you to read.
I had to go through and search my email, but all I found was a red line version, but it was supposedly the final red line, so I just snipped out the one piece of it, actually it's on my phone, so
Yeah,
I can't even email.
I have difficulty, I put it somewhere now, I can't find it when I want.
Well, I have one at home I'm not on my desk, but in one of my folders, it's like this thick with a big binder clip on it, because somebody printed them, I'm like, for sure, I'm gonna be like searching a document.
I want it electronically so I can search it.
I even have it on my phone for that specific purpose, so that if I got a question, I'm like, hold on, let me. Okay, there we go.
Did this have job descriptions in it or what?
No, it's just employment, it's PTO policy, sick leave policy, any
HR stuff.
policy, HR
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Okay.
HR stuff.
I got you.
And just so you know, because of me being on vacation, that squad car was here for anybody's use that needed it. He's on vacation now, so the one vehicle he has, I have now, will be driving back and forth.
And then
So,
where's your unmarked one?
sitting over there.
Just sits there.
And we've got a couple trainings, guys are going to a couple trainings, and they can take that if they need to.
Okay.
And it's nice having an unmarked car in the fleet for that specific purpose, so that, we send somebody to Springfield for training. Just as an example, they're not driving around a billboard that says Village of Winnebago on it. They're just driving a white unmarked police car that no one.
With municipal plates.
No, I think it's good for this committee to understand how they're being used and
Yeah.
what you're doing and all of
That's
that.
And, yeah,
Because I
I
really
don't know.
And no, I mean,
At all.
some people would think that, nothing ever happens in Winnebago, but I beg to differ,
Yeah, I'll show you the.
We've had a bank robbery here.
I keep,
When Todd was at the FBI National Academy, I had to come into work when he was gone because there was a shooting here in town. Accidental shooting, but yeah, it's.
and haven't I asked before, but when we annexed in those gas stations, we bought that, we own that now for policing.
Mhm.
And there's probably quite a bit there, or comparably, I try to watch for that, but this doesn't specify where it happens, right?
No,
You're
it's
looking at
not.
the statistics.
I'd be interested to know, because to me, that's where everybody's stopping in all the time.
Right, people are coming, we are the only 24-hour west of Freeport, or west of
Exactly.
Rockford, east of Freeport. The only 24-hour businesses that you're gonna find along US Highway 20. And there's a corridor between Iowa and Chicago for money, guns, and drugs.
Thank God.
And we've
I would-
gotten money, guns, and drugs
Proven
at the
that.
corners.
There you go.
And
It happens.
think of that Dodge Challenger that Sarah got, that had a bunch of drugs in it, a little bit of money, and a gun.
And
She-
that was
and she-
Winnebago's responsibility.
And she admitted that she was going she left Iowa, went to Chicago, picked it up, was coming back, where she got stopped.
And Mike,
That brings up another point is, the canvas money can be used for a vehicle as well.
I thought that was like training or something.
No, it's for enforcement of,
drug-related,
offenses. And you have to have a vehicle to do those types of things.
And if that's not a stretch?
I don't think so.
I really don't think it would be.
I think you could say that we're doing drug interdictions with it. I mean, we do that because all the traffic is coming through the corner.
I mean, we send our people to specialized training looking for impaired drivers that are using drugs. And that training is already paid for by our subscription to NITAB. It would only make sense for us to have the equipment needed, and
I don't think it'd be a stretch at all.
the car would be equipment.
Who monitors that and makes sure that we're spending it on the things that we're supposed to be spending it on? I mean, is that a grant infraction potential if we're wrong?
I don't think so. I think Sally Bennett has brought that up in the past about asking me what it would be used for, and I looked at it. It's for enforcing drug laws. You know, that's the whole purpose of it. So how are you gonna enforce drug laws if you're walking down the sidewalk? You have to have a vehicle to do those types of enforcements.
I would say.
I mean, I don't know how you can get away from saying that's not a viable use of that money.
I know somebody else in this group of 4 or 3 that responded to me said something about all their tow fees go to their squad fund, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that is for us. It's probably not a terrible amount.
It's,
We're at 18 tows for the year, that's $500 per.
Okay.
And that, I
We've
mean,
already
we're,
brought in 4,000.
3,500.
No, it's 4,000 now. A check just came in today, so that was accurate when it was
We
printed. That was
just
accurate.
told somebody over here.
No. We get checks from a tow company for the $500 fee, and one came in today, so I updated that. There's another one that was paid for on there.
so yeah, I mean, in
What
6 months, we towed 18 cars.
What's the cannabis money? I'm sorry.
From the dispensaries, every community gets a cut of that money that the dispensaries bring in
Oh, really?
by the tax, yes.
I mean, if we.
Even if you don't have a dispensary
In your
in your
town?
jurisdiction, you still get some of the money from
Wow.
the dispensaries
Interesting.
in the state.
But if we could get a dispensary in this town, man. we would
She would say, she'd say absolutely not, I know that.
We would be printing
I'd be out of
money,
here.
printing money.
I like money.
Mhm.
I don't like it that much.
Printing money.
Well, I spoke and said this in the past, either we make the money here or somebody else will.
Yep, so just go down the road and find the next community willing to bring them in.
That's beyond the scope of what we were talking about.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna send this email before I leave, but I won't spend time doing it now. I'm just trying to get that together. All right, so what's next on the agenda? Anybody else have any comments on that before we move on? All right, new hire update.
He's doing very well. He had his first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, wait, he's already started?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
28th was the date that everyone voted on.
Okay.
So yeah, he started yesterday, or sorry, Monday
Now, is he riding with somebody?
with me,
Okay,
and while I'm gone with Chief.
during a day shift then?
Yeah.
Okay,
uh,
but he is gonna do nights.
Yeah, he's going
Oh, yeah,
to
he's chomping at the bit to get the night. He wants to get through his training phase, so get the night.
What kind of training is he gonna get, relative to his
He
experience?
just needs an update on what we do in-house. He already has knowledge of the RMS system, how it operates, how to use it for writing reports, searching people or things, the leads database that's associated with that. The DigiTicket system, he's already versed on, he knows how to use that. The criminal complaint system used through the state attorney's office, he's already very knowledgeable with that. So it's basically just get, the lay of the land, how we operate, how things go, and he'll be ready to go. I mean, it's not, somebody with 20-year experience, only been out in law enforcement, what, a year and a half?
not even a year.
Not even a year. So he's got all that. We just have to wait to find out we have to submit a waiver for him
Oh, it already came.
to the state, huh?
It already came.
Did it come back?
It's already in his file. Thumbs
So
up.
he's already got his waiver, so was there any training he needed or?
Yeah, and it's all
Minor
online
stuff.
stuff that he can handle and you
So-
can handle, so I'm not.
He's already been blessed by the state, so we don't have any problems there, so.
Can I ask a dumb question? Are all our officers consistent on their leniency, strictness, and I don't even know no one stopped me yet, but, are we generally consistent across the board? Do we have a philosophy that we're lenient, strict,
We do.
somewhere between?
I have the philosophy of, there's a few things that go along with enforcement, and that's education. You know, the whole aspect of stopping a car for license plate light violation. Number one, it's not the right to ticket for that violation. It's to make sure the person in the vehicle is doing what they're supposed to, have their driver's license, insurance, all those things. I don't know anybody, well, there might be a few people out there who would write somebody a ticket for that, we will not. Headlight violations, the same way. You have a headlight out, we'll stop you. Hey, you understand if your headlight's out, you have your driver's license for insurance. You know,
But if a month later, we're stopping that same car for that same
same
violation.
headlight, they may eventually get a ticket for it. Yeah, it's officer discretion, but they understand, they work in a small community. Not everybody needs to get a ticket, you know, young people that are new drivers, you know, educate them, give them a warning, let them move on. So it's very, and that's, we've always had that philosophy here, even when Todd was here. You know, if you get somebody that's, you know, 15 miles an hour over 15 miles an hour over a 30 mile per hour zone, well, that's a little excessive, especially in a residential area, so they'll get a ticket. I had my threshold when I was patrol a lot about 11 miles an hour. So 95% of the time you're in a residential area, and you don't need to be traveling 30 or 41 miles an hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. There's nobody here that's heavy-handed, I can tell you.
So as these new people come in, is that part of the training? Is that part of the?
Yeah, you talk about, you know, where you set your threshold and the discretion level which you have, and everyone has a pretty good handle on that. No one's out there hammering, you know, the silly equipment stuff. They're using the equipment.
No, of course, if you get an equipment violation of some sort, you make the stop, get up to the car, see your driver's license for insurance. Number one, their driver's license is suspended, revoked, invalid, never had a driver's license. They don't have insurance, then of course, those are violations we're gonna write, because number one, they shouldn't be driving. Number two, you don't want them out there driving and hit you when they don't have insurance. You know, so those violations are taken seriously, because that could affect someone else, you know, the speed.
Do they lose their car when they don't have insurance, or do they drive off after you give them a ticket?
Well, it depends, if it's just an insurance violation, you can't really tow their car for it.
They can go prove it to the judge, right? They can bring it.
And we do that at times, we do,
It's still
you know,
like
if you stop somebody, you know, 2 or 3 times, and each time they don't have a valid insurance, okay, so we more than likely will write them each time, but you have to have the probable cause to stop them first. There had to be something, a precursor to that, insurance ticket. You can't just stop them and say, okay, I need your insurance.
Yeah.
So you need something, and maybe a tail light, or maybe a, you know, headlight or something like that, and you find out they don't have insurance. Okay, we'll record who they are. Okay, you need to get the insurance for your car. But, okay, they pull out a card and it's 3 months past due, they don't have the updated card. Okay, we'll let them go. You know, give them a warning on it, say, make sure you get your card, make sure you have your insurance. But you run across those people, you know, a few times and they don't have insurance, well, maybe even the second time, they have a valid driver's license with no insurance. So they'll write them for whatever you stop them for, the probable cause ticket, and then write them the uninsured motorist ticket. Now, they can go into court, and if they can prove that they had insurance on the date and time of the stop, the judge will throw that one out.
Gotcha. All right, any other news on staff?
No, everything's,
Everybody's still here and good?
everyone's still here, everyone's doing well, and honestly, very impressed with what's been going on, everyone's.
It's how many now?
It is 8 full-time officers and 1 part-time officer.
How many hours is Edgar working? It's Edgar, right?
Edgar has been on leave because he took a job with
That's right.
Roscoe, so he's just now coming back into the fold.
Okay, so he is gonna work a little bit for us?
Yeah, he asked if he could work at least 2 shifts, 2 20 or 2 12-hour shifts a month. And
That's
the way that,
part-time.
and the way that we have it structured is by policy, by Lexington policy, they have to work 4 shifts a month. But we've made it to where a part-time shift could be 4 hours. So if he's doing 2 12-hour shifts a month, he falls within that threshold. And we will find shifts for him because people want time off.
Yeah.
And he's chomping at the bit to come back. He likes working.
He likes it here, yeah, he likes it here.
And he's a good hand to have.
And they have a release of liability indemnification form you need to sign for Roscoe as well, just like we do with anybody else when we go out. So I haven't seen that yet, so I'm waiting to see it and get it to Mary and she can look at it. I'll bring it to you guys so you can look at it as well.
I bet you it's gonna be very similar to the one that we have,
I'm sure it is.
because the one from Kirkland is exactly the same
I was
as
gonna
ours.
say word for word, right?
I think it's probably the same one.
Well, so one of our officers works part-time at another agency, not right now while he's on probationary status, but he needs an agreement signed between them and us. And he's like, well, I took the agreement and it's word for word our agreement. The only thing is it says this instead of Winnebago. So what I don't understand is that him not being okay with that agreement, because it's exactly their agreement.
Yeah, it was something that their attorney didn't like that they would change or something.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it was. Once he gets it back to me, I'll have to go to Mary for approval anyways.
Right.
All right, good deal. Crime statistics.
These are the same ones that you got in your board packet with the, at the last trustee meeting.
Sergeant Hand, do you have a report?
No, we discussed everything that, I had to bring up.
How about you, Chief White?
Yeah, I only have one thing. Obviously, you know, I just got back from vacation last night, first day back today. But something came up while I was gone that, I have started to inquire on. The 911 center, is questioning where the Village of Winnebago Police Department's jurisdiction starts and ends out on 20. I don't know why this came up.
On the Highway 20 itself?
I'll explain. They believe that, okay, so you have Road Ranger, McDonald's, and then there's a property west of McDonald's. It's marked as 117 Capriola Parkway.
Okay.
And it runs a distance west of the village. I couldn't tell you how far. I haven't sat down, looked at the map, put a scale on it, figure out how far it is, but quite a distance, maybe a quarter mile,
Yeah, thereabouts.
maybe a quarter mile west of.
Where that first turnaround is.
Yeah, if you go west, of the first turnaround and you go west, that's probably about a quarter mile, isn't it?
Yeah,
They believe our jurisdiction is the eastbound lanes of 20 from the west edge of that 117 property.
Really?
All the way to the eastern boundary of Mobile. So that's basically what they're saying,
they're saying that this is ours on 20.
that the eastbound lane.
This tiny little bit?
Yeah, this,
Well, it's probably, you're probably
Dispatch.
talking half a mile, maybe less than half a mile.
So if something happens there, they're calling you,
Yes,
is what you're getting at.
yes,
On the highway.
yes. See, but nobody seems to know where the data, because that's what shows on their CAD system. Their CAD map shows, which is computer-aided dispatch system, shows that pretty much similar to that. So that eastbound lane on 20 would be our jurisdiction. Now, there's no map around here that I've seen. See how that one's got the jurisdictional map here?
Yes.
But that's across both lanes of 20.
and that's east of the
That's
intersection.
east of the intersection and nothing to the west. So I need to start going down that rabbit hole to figure out what it is. The thing that is interesting is we've made stops out on 20 where the violation occurred out on 20. And those cases have been thrown out in court because we don't have jurisdiction out there according to the courts.
Huh. Like
So-
somewhere outside of this little spot that they're talking about?
No, it would have been within here.
Okay. Huh.
So,
So when if they call you there, you're saying,
that's not ours.
For the
That's the
last,
state of the county.
for the last 10 years that I've been here, 9 years,
Make it the last 23 that I've been here.
we've never handled things out there. That doesn't belong to us. We don't get the fuel tax.
No
for
more
that.
fuel
right,
tax
that's
money.
what I was
We don't
wondering.
maintain the roadway.
Right.
We don't mow the shoulders. So how they say that we have jurisdiction out there, I don't know. Hey, if they wanna give us part of it, that's fine by me. I'll
Yeah, because it-
I'll write tickets out there all day.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
If they wanna start giving us the tax base.
But-
by all
But they'll get
means.
thrown out in court. We've seen it happen in the past.
So state police have to give tickets and have jurisdiction there? or
Well, state police has,
State and the county.
That's what you would think.
The state and the county has jurisdiction anywhere on that map. But we have limited jurisdiction as to what's in this area. Now, if we're traveling down Cunningham Road for the purpose of going to an area of our jurisdiction, we could potentially write violations here. But you can't use equipment that the average person wouldn't have. You can't use radar. You could pace somebody, say if somebody was in front of you and you're pacing them and doing 70 miles an hour, you could stop them and write them a ticket because you're not using special equipment that's based on law enforcement.
Because that's county.
yeah.
Right.
But
If you
if
see
they,
somebody there on that roadway as you're going that way or this way, and they're crossing the lanes, you can make that stop because it was a visual observation. You believe that person's intoxicated or impaired in some way, shape, or form.
or if they come off of Lamson Road, they don't stop at the stop sign and you're there, you can pull them over.
Because it doesn't take any, it's basically we can use our observation only, we can't use equipment that we have. Obviously, we can use the camera equipment
If
to
it's,
when we make the stop, but
if it's endangering somebody around, then you make the stop.
So where can I speed exactly?
Yeah,
well, you can speed anywhere out here, past here.
So how do you go about figuring this out?
I just gotta start making phone calls.
Oh,
I talked to Mary Gazzano today, and she says, oh, that's got me stumped, I don't know. But she could tell you that she's had cases that we've taken to court for violations that we've written out there, and they've been thrown out.
Huh.
So,
if someone runs the red light at the corners coming out of Winnebago heading north, we can
now,
write
see,
that
that's the thing that gets me though, is I've seen the map, and I've seen this map many times, and I just can't lay my hands on it. That shows inside the intersection being the village of Winnebago, but only inside the intersection. So if we saw that happen going north, we can write that violation.
because that was in the village.
Yeah. The same thing here, if they run that light going south, that's still within that area that's supposedly ours, but now I gotta get clarification. Because before, the maps I always saw within the intersection, which is those 4 sets of lights, square, is ours. But 99 times out of 100, the crashes that occur there are serious enough, we don't have the capability to do reconstruction on them. So that's why the state of the county comes in and handles it.
So what happens if this is true? That it's,
That's ours,
Do they
based on
still
that
come?
map?
yeah, who does the crashes then?
Well, I can tell you right now, we've taken multiple crashes, the turn lane, as you're going north, the turn lane going east. Every crash that happens in that turn lane, we've taken. Because they're fender benders and they're actually still within the village of Winnebago, because it's not, they haven't breached the boundary of Route 20. Because what happens is, you get one car pull up to the light to stop, another car pulls up behind it. Guy in the second car is watching traffic and not
Yes.
watching the car in
I've
front of him.
almost done that.
Sees that car move a little bit and thinks, oh, I can go, steps on it, bam! We take those, I've taken, I don't know how many of those I've taken. But we have to pull out on 20 to get people out of that turn lane, so it's safe for everybody to pass and do our investigation. So where they got the idea that all of that is ours, I have no idea.
Interesting.
But it was an interesting, thought process, and I just gotta figure out where the information has to be gained from.
Keep us posted.
I don't know. That's all I have.
Strange.
All right, thank you. Any other new business?
Yes, a couple things. The medicine collection drive,
June 10th.
Keep North America,
Keep Northern Illinois beautiful.
When is that, June 10th?
so Nick has reached out to the EA.
The department, or the drug enforcement
The
administration.
DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency. They will only collect the narcotics from those drives twice a year. Once in April, once in October. They want to have this drive in June. So any narcotics collected on that June date, we would have to store here until October
Otherwise, Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful would have to pay $15,000.
to have it disposed of.
I thought this was really their thing.
It is.
It is, but.
But law enforcement, you can't let those people take
Narcotics.
narcotics with them anywhere.
Really?
Now, I have one thing to check. Winnebago County has come in the past and picked those up. Now, what they did with it from there, I don't know, and I don't care. But
What
one
did he,
time, it was a 55-gallon drum about 3/4 of the way full.
well, I believe you.
Yeah, we sure don't want to keep that here.
We had no place to keep it. We have, if we keep it, we have to keep it someplace secure and have it be our evidence room. There's no
What
room
did
in
these
there.
drop-offs that I found that time, you know, there's different locations to
Yeah.
drop off anytime.
Oh, yeah.
What do they do?
Oh,
It's
most
like
of
it was a
those-
Walgreens or.
Most of those places are pharmacies or,
Oh,
the sheriff's department has one,
Pecatonica has one.
Pecatonica has one, but it's at the police department.
and they just keep
And it's
keep
a
it there.
box,
It's okay to keep.
And it's a small box.
box about the size of my laptop.
You're talking in one of these drives, you could get, like I said, 55, the last one I was physically at, well, at the end of the day, with a 55-gallon plastic, one of those blue plastic drums, it was about 3/4 way full, and that was just the narcotics.
Who set that anyway? Was that done in community development or?
Yeah, that was,
Vivian Gaines
there
started
we
it.
go.
Well, I mean, we didn't know this when we set the date, obviously.
Oh, we didn't set the
We
date.
didn't set the
That's what I'm saying. Who set the date for this?
Keep Northern Illinois
Yeah,
Beautiful.
lady
That's
from-
their, that is
Oh, they
their-
just came and said, this is the date we're coming out to Winnebago.
Well,
and
we
they-
talked about it in community development.
I remember we talked about, do we want to have one here, and that's when we came
I
up with all
brought
those
that
other
up because
options.
there's so many
But
drop-offs.
it's not,
So they're going to give me statistics on it this time so we can talk about that. But that's really as far as,
well, I spoke with a, what rank is he? Paul Gallagher?
no, Rockford.
What
I
rank is-
didn't
What
know
rank is
that's-
he?
Assistant Deputy Chief Paul Gallagher from the city of Rockford.
They, he doesn't know if the city of Rockford is gonna participate in it because they don't have the space to hold on to the many pounds of drugs that they.
When we talked about it in community development, I had no idea.
I know.
We just found this out. This is
I
something new to
thought we
us.
were just voting, you know,
Yeah, no, this,
Because they have a disposal company that comes in and takes the non-narcotics. Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful does that.
yeah.
But the narcotics cannot be sent with anyone other than, it has to be kept with law enforcement, such as us, the sheriff's department, state police, the DEA. It can't just be taken somewhere by somebody.
And we already,
oh, and we would also have to transport the narcotics to Chicago.
In October.
for
the
the,
DEA facility.
take it away.
Yeah.
For the destruction.
And the city of Rockford, like I said, they may not participate in it. City of West Park is going to continue to participate in it, but, yeah.
But
it's-
there was something that was brought up about it has to be in a special box with a special liner and all this stuff.
Again, this all brings me back to,
We found out that's not true. It's a cardboard box with a
Trash bag.
trash bag liner. Is all it is.
you know, there was 15 or 17 drop-off sites.
Oh, yeah, they're all over the place.
Now what
Yeah.
do we do with it? Did we
Yeah,
pay
I
them
don't-
already?
I-
don't know.
I mean, tomorrow's June 1st, we got 9 days. I mean, it's,
And they got the signs up all over the place already?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, right
I
there, I looked at them,
saw
I'm like, I guess I should have known about that. I was like, yes, that sign. I'm like, I don't remember. I mean, I just forgot. I don't know.
So
I know
I'm
we
gonna-
talked
Well, I
about it.
thought it went in front of the board too.
Yeah,
I know
I
I brought it up.
don't think the board was, knew of this either. Like I
No.
said,
well,
Not
we
this
didn't know
part.
of this, but I mean,
this came to our attention
A couple days ago.
a couple days ago, so.
Like, I reached out to this liaison from the Chicago DEA, and he said, you know, I tried to explain this to the woman at Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful multiple times, that we will not come and get the drugs. And if you want to be part of the take back that we're doing in October, fantastic, but you have to bring it to us. And so it would be up to you, the local agency, to hold on to the drugs. And then that's when the city called me and they said, yeah, we don't know if we're gonna do this or not.
So I'm gonna reach out to my contact in the sheriff department, because years past, we have just basically transferred it to them and they've taken care of it. So I'm gonna reach out to my contacts with them tomorrow and see if that's something they're gonna do this year or not.
Yeah,
But my understanding is the head of this program through Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful doesn't like to listen to what she's told.
I emailed her because,
Pamela?
yeah, I'm trying to find it, but because I wanted data this time. And, that's as far as I got a reply. She's going to, oh, no problem. But nothing about
I
that.
don't know how she's gonna give you data when they don't have a scale or anything up there.
Well, that's why I wanted to see this data.
What you were going for, right?
Unless they do something.
It is. What else do you do?
Yeah.
That's all sounds great, but sometimes this stuff happens and then it costs a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wondered.
So,
But if we do end up participating, I have an officer who will stay with them while they do the collection drive.
because you have to have a law enforcement officer there anyway, because of the amount of narcotics that show up.
And we can't have the shift officer there because if the shift officer actually gets a call for service, they have to leave. So we will pay somebody overtime to watch the narcotics.
Could Edgar do that?
Huh?
Could Edgar do that?
He is busy that day. We've been very good with our overtime budget, so we think we can pay for that.
Because I think it even posted on social media too, didn't it?
I haven't seen it. I also haven't really been paying too much attention.
Well, anyway, it wouldn't be too good if we pulled out of that.
Well, but if we may not have a choice, it sounds like.
Right.
We got no place
Exactly.
to store this stuff.
Yeah,
Well, whatever you find out.
I'll know tomorrow, because I'll reach out tomorrow.
And can you let us know, Jeff? I mean, we gotta figure out. I mean,
Yeah, I'll
to
have
me,
an answer,
it's-
I'll have an answer tomorrow. The sheriff
I
department can
think
take it.
Northern Illinois, or whatever they're called now, Keep America Beautiful would know.
I thought they were,
Yeah, I thought.
that's where it went.
Yeah,
Because they are a
uh,
drop-off location as well, but
right.
maybe not for narcotics. And that's the difference. I don't know.
I don't know how, I just know when they do big drops like this, and the locations where they have drop boxes are most likely pharmacies,
Police departments.
police departments, stuff like that have, and once they drop them, there's no way of getting back into it. People can't just reach their hand in there and grab a bunch of stuff. It's a secure,
Kind of like mailbox.
yeah.
Oh,
They drop it in, there's no way for them to get
Oh,
it back out.
sure.
Somebody can't just walk by in there, reach in there and get stuff
Keep
out.
Illinois Beautiful would not be able to store that at their facility.
I wouldn't think so. Unless they maybe there's some license they can get from the DEA.
Because they are a drop-off location, now that I remember that now.
Well, and that's where I think the Rockford PD comes in and they say, hey, we're not gonna do that.
Because Rockford isn't participating, you said.
They may not.
They may not.
I haven't heard back from Paul.
Assistant Deputy Chief Gallagher.
Yes.
Yeah, I think,
Well,
we gotta make a decision, so yeah, as soon as you know, cause I don't think we have an option, we have to pull out of it.
yeah, we better check with Sally and see if we paid.
Is that all drugs, like prescription and over the counter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be.
They'll take anything.
Syringes that
Yeah.
have liquid stuff in?
And dog medication, like anything.
A couple $10,000 shots to give you.
I mean, they have pharmacy.
Seriously, $10,000.
Pharmacy and pharmacy techs that are there to look at the label, determine what it is, and they separate it. Narcotic goes there, if it's a prescription drug, it's not a narcotic, it's not a scheduled drug, it goes somewhere else. Liquid goes over here, and yes, they separate it all.
Yeah, because you worked a couple of them. Always have to be on my days off.
Yeah, I worked one of them the first one.
That's convenient.
Hot as blazes out too.
I guess we're gonna have to let everybody know, I'm gonna figure out.
Let me know, because
who
I'll
makes that
help
call
you
and
out,
see.
get on
You're
it.
head of community development, right?
Let me know what you find out,
Yeah,
I can tell, because I've had a
As soon as I get something from
yeah,
Sheriff's Department, I'll let you know.
thanks. Didn't I?
Okay,
Well, so we got one more thing,
okay,
then I'll be done for new business, we can move on. Mary Groves has approached us, wants the village's opinion, says the community is a Purple Heart community. She wants to obtain signs that put at the entrances to the village. You know, one at each one. She's caught in between which one she wants, and she wants the village's opinion. I'll send these out to all the village board members once I get them scanned so you can see them, but obviously there's 4 choices she put out that she said she liked.
What is broom count? What is, that's just an example.
It's just an example of the
Purple Heart community, so there's some choices that she gave. Since Winnebago is a Purple Heart village, I'd like signs at all 4 village limits in Elida and Cunningham. Each sign is $50 to $75, and placing donation packets made by school students around town. I've narrowed choices to these 4 and asking the board to choose one. Hopefully I can have them to display on the 4th of July, at the 4th of July parade. Thanks, Mary.
Can I see those two? I vote for this.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
purple.
saying too.
I like it.
I mean, because that one says Purple County. I'm sure you get whatever
Yeah.
you want. Purple Heart City. And the only thing I would, you know, if you put village or Winnebago or Purple Heart, you'd have to put village. You couldn't put city. You could put city, I guess, but whatever. I did the same thing. I like
First
that.
one, yes,
Is it purple or is it just the print job?
maybe it is.
Well, I think within the heart, Purple Heart itself is purple. It may not be purple, maybe blue.
Yeah.
But
That's my
just to
vote.
throw that out there, and I'll be sending emails out to everybody.
And that's not for us to pay for that.
No,
Yeah,
she's getting donations that haven't paid for it.
I mean, we would have,
She
The
just-
signs, the posts.
yeah, we'd have to have the signs, the posts, I guess, yeah.
So.
Okay.
I gave that to you. I was told to give that to you, and I did my part. I'll email it out to all the board members, so they have it before the board meeting.
All right, do, we have, for items for the board meeting, I don't really, do we have anything?
The only thing is that we'll have Officer Cotter sworn in,
Oh, okay,
and I already have the paperwork in Sally Joe's mailbox. So
okay,
that is done deal.
perfect. Oh, we have to have ratification of.
Oh, of the cameras, yeah. So we might.
But I did get everyone's vote but Jeremy. I never got a response from Jeremy, which is unusual. Is he away?
It is, no, because I just saw him the other day at the school.
Yes, he is.
Oh, is he?
Didn't he have to go to is he a,
Oh, is he doing his 2
Service?
weeks?
service? Yes.
He's doing his 2 weeks,
I
okay.
believe my wife said he is on that.
Okay, because I guess it just, must have been 2 weeks ago I saw him. All the days running.
So when you
Are
do
we
a,
gonna need a resolution or executive summary for that,
For the cameras?
or no, because it was already budgeted?
It was supposed to be a ratification of the straw poll vote is what Frank said to me, so I don't know if that requires that. Check with Kelly, she'll know.
how does that straw poll work? You set
Just
that
if
out
you
as a,
have to, if you know there's not gonna be time for a meeting or anything and you absolutely have to get, and the only reason I felt, and I talked to Frank, is I'm like, when we presented the budget, we said 160,000 for the cameras, for the car and for the body cam, but we are not gonna spend it unless we get the grant of 160, so matching revenues with expenses. If we don't get this, we're not getting this. Well, the grant all changed, as they told us, so we knew we weren't gonna get this. And then we decided to go with Motorola, which was less anyway, but there was still a mismatch revenues and expenses. I said, I feel like we're diverting from the budget, we have to get a approval before, and then we had to get that contract signed so we could submit the grant, they're all on timeline.
right, because the grant needed to be by end of June.
Right.
So I was able to just do that vote, as long as the majority came back and agreed or gave me the same
So
answer.
then we take it to the board now as,
It's really just a ratification. We
Just
did
to
the
go.
straw poll, heard from everybody but Jeremy, so that's what I would say, heard from everybody but
Okay.
Jeremy. Mike and I had a little conversation back and forth, we had some questions, and you and,
And you could even, if for some reason, shape or form, you wanted to save some of that money, that doesn't have to be paid for all at once.
oh, it's not going to be paid all at once, I don't believe.
The 91,
Yeah, I think we've signed up for that 5-year program, right? So what we would do is if we get more than the first year's grant, I would say we put in a sinking fund to pay it, because that's what it's going for.
yeah, I mean,
That's
if
what I
you,
would do.
like I said, instead of paying the whole 91, I think isn't that what straw poll for was?
Well, it was just, can we sign a contract with a 5-year, so I have it laid out with a 5-year cost, so they know that the first,
We just have
whatever it is.
to budget for the other 4. The first year's gonna be included in that.
25.
Right, so our budget's gonna be way off, because we have 160 in, but we're only gonna spend, what, 25 or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, 25 something.
And maybe we'll get, whatever you said, 35 back, so we might have actually a surplus, but then we'll put that in the, sinking fund, so that takes the surplus.
Yeah,
away.
it's 25,614 for the first year.
Because every year after this, there's no reimbursement. That's, the reimbursement comes all at once. But you
Yeah, and if we
pay-
get the storage and software one too, on top of that, again, I would dump that
Yes.
right into the
Oh.
sinking fund to pay for the next.
That's right. There was-
Yeah, the first year with the equipment was 25,614, every year after for 4 years is 16,800. But, like you said, there is a storage grant that we might be able to get some more money out of as well, so.
So that'd be good if we can put it in a sinking fund, we just pull it out, as we know we're gonna pay, year 2, we're paying X, we take X out of that sinking fund. All right, are we ready to be adjourned? So you've got your board meeting items, Nick? The swearing in, the application, you can check with Kelly on what we need exactly, if you don't mind, and then,
And I won't be at the board meeting.
won't be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chief Later.
Maybe in Montague then?
Yep, I'll be in Montana.
All right, sounds good. All right, motion for adjournment?
I will make that motion.
And I will second, we're adjourned at 6:46. So much for a light meeting.
Yeah, well.
We always think that, but it never ends up that way.
It was a good one.
Yeah.